What is up, everybody? This is Mark the Mike, and this is another The Wrestling Babble podcast by Recycling Inc. I'm Mark the Mike. I'm joined by Lou Beans.
What is up? What is up?
And we got the almighty Nick today.
How you doing, everybody?
And we're covering a shit ton of wrestling, like we always do. But this week is just like oversaturated of what Spring called it? Semi-nude wrestling? Semi-nude combat?
Oh my god, I wish I still had that thread. Yeah.
Semi-nude combat. There you go.
It was Osprey. Wasn't it like they making fun of something that Jericho said?
It was Jericho saying sports entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Seth said something afterwards. And then Will
Osprey
said semi-nude combat. There you go. But yeah, we got a lot to cover this week. We had WrestleMania this weekend, night 1, night 2. We had NXT takeovers, Stand and Deliver. You had ROH Supercard. You had the multiverse of matches, the Impact that they don't even had to happen, but it did happen, and we appreciate it anyway. There's a lot of indie stuff like Bloodsport and things like that. There was everything, like from Monday of last week all the way to yesterday. We had wrestling almost every single day. Multiple versions of it.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, when WrestleMania goes somewhere, they usually bring a whole ton of shit shows with them because you got people touring and shit too. So they kind of want to be outside. They kind of want to do shit too while they're there. So they do tons of wrestling shows when WrestleMania comes about. We could probably go through the week of wrestling very fast, and because most of the chunk is going to be the WrestleMania talk and everything like that. So that's where we'll get into it. In general, what you thought was the go home shows? What you thought of the go home shows for WrestleMania?
I thought SmackDowns was weak. I thought the only thing I liked from SmackDowns of like the past 2 weeks going home was the Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar stuff, and the women's tag stuff. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
How about you, Nick?
I agree with him very much. I felt like, I guess it was going on the reputation of WrestleMania a lot of times with this. A lot of the lead up was a little slow or didn't make sense, or it felt like it was rushed. The only one that was constant was the Roman Reigns stuff. So, and surprisingly enough, also the Sami Zayn stuff.
Okay.
They kept that going throughout the week. So,
good.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, finish what you're saying.
Oh, I actually was.
Okay. All right, just want to make sure. I would say 100%. I was digging the women's tag match, like leading into it. I think that was probably some of the better matches, and we had good matches every week, and it kind of adjusted the teams, and there was still drama within the teams and all that stuff. So I was actually looking forward to that match, and that was something that was a highlight throughout the weeks. I did like the Ricochet match with the. Oh God. My phone went off to tell me something. Anyway, I did like the IC title match on Friday. I thought the match was good. The way he called both finishers was fucking dope. Ricochet did on the Lost, whatever they are, Angel and
Lethal Lovers,
and the Lethal Lovers. And they I liked the match. The U.S. I wish the U.S. title and the IC title did get some love on WrestleMania. I think that's probably my disappointment of WrestleMania is the fact that I want to see all the titles be defended and not just the main ones. I think they also deserve a spot.
I mean, they had enough room to do it too.
Yeah, there was a lot of when we're gonna go through the card of WrestleMania, there was some matches there that honestly you did not really need to have at WrestleMania. They were good.
Yeah.
Like McIntyre Corbin, for example. That was a good match. I'm not going to take away from it. It was a good match. But it didn't need to be. We seen them kind of build the story. That was a SmackDown story.
Yeah.
Agree.
So like little things like that could have been taken place with an IC title. You could have took the Sheamus match, the Drew McIntyre match, and Ricochet and the whoever they are, and put them in a ladder match for the IC title, and that would have been one match. Put Xavier
I don't
Woods in the
really,
IC,
I don't
Combine
care
two
about
stories together.
huh?
I was saying when it comes to the Lethal Lotharios, I can't care. I don't.
But
I
they could
think
just be for like the big bump.
yeah. I mean, it's not that it's not talent wise.
Yeah.
It's just not hitting with me, man. I don't know what they have to do with them in particular. I don't listen. Angel Garza, when he was by himself,
Yeah.
he was at least more hateable for him being a heel because he was pretty sinister and he was a legitimate jerk.
Yeah.
And now putting him with Alberto, it should be like, oh man, these two guys are awesome. But for some reason, it's just kind of like, I don't know,
Yeah.
man. It's kind of they've been doing the same thing for 3 weeks in a row, and it just ain't hitting for me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I agree with. I liked the Becky and Bianca build.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought that was
that's
very
probably
solid, and I think that was
if
one
I
of my
have to-
favorite matches too.
if I have to go for what they were building to, women's wise, probably the best build. To give them credit on that for that one, right? And I guess what else came from Raw that was built really
The
well?
the Raw tag titles.
Yeah, that was a highlight. That was a very that ended up being probably one of my favorite matches of the WrestleMania weekend. But just again, like, man, RK Bro is so good.
Yeah, they're fun.
It's not even just them in the ring. It's like when they come come from the back, the energy they bring. It just is like, it's fun.
Yeah,
and that's I don't know, man. Not everybody brings that nowadays. It's good. It's just real good.
and then I have to give credit to these guys because they did everything by themselves and they built the storyline by themselves. And that's Kevin Owens and that's Seth Rollins. They built their matches by themselves. They had incredible promos. They had incredible, just like getting you intrigued of what they're gonna do, especially without even seeing an opponent or if you even know if they're gonna show up or not. So that's something I give a lot of credit to them.
I got a point. I don't know what Seth Rollins is doing. I don't know this character he's doing. I get that he's supposed to be eccentric. He's borderline annoying to me. KO is KO.
Yeah.
I can't knock him. He's always. That's who I expect. He doesn't. There's no change in him. Like that, he knows who his character is. He sticks to it. He hasn't changed at all, except sometimes he'll be overly aggressive. That's it. But Rollins, I'm like, he's annoying to me.
He is 66 Joker. What do you want?
That is exactly who he is.
He's over the top even for that guy.
He is 60. He is Cesar Romero.
Yeah,
He refuses to cut the mustache.
I don't think I think he's the Riddler after the other got replaced.
I give him credit. Like with the 66
Was that Frank
Joker,
Gorshin?
he's very similar
I think
to the
that's
66
yeah.
I mean, listen, you're not wrong. I mean, if you look at Frank Gorshin's Riddler, yeah, the way he moves, yeah. But I mean, I like it because nobody else is doing it.
Yeah.
Well, that is a new thing. I'm like, Jesus.
And I say it works.
I just think it's too old for me.
It works because of the gear. It works because, for me, it works because there's work put in. Not only is he acting different, but he's actually coming out with something new every week. So I'm like, all right, I can't be mad.
Yeah, I give the same credit. Like, it takes a lot for him to like. He does the suits, he does the gear, and then the gears lose you weird as hell too. So it's like one of the two. I actually dug his storyline going into it. Him trying to rob fucking Edge, trying to take Edge's match, him trying to take KO's match. Like the things he was doing, it was like very shady, very villainish. But he's becoming that anti-hero that a lot of people are liking more. They're cheering him on, even though he's still doing these heel tactics, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm digging it.
Well, the lit down, I always felt like okay, he's doing all these loops. And then all he had to do was ask for a match.
See, that made perfect sense to it, and also his reaction to it too. It's like all I had to do was ask. Like, yeah, that's all you had to do.
I was like, Who punchline was that?
I love that. I actually love that for him because he got and then when him jumping on. Honestly, this is what I thought was gonna happen, and I was hoping not. Honestly, everyone thought Cody Rhodes was gonna be the person, and 100%. I think that was mostly
that
most
was
people like
absurd.
that. But seeing that he jumped on Vince McMahon's fucking table, I felt like he was gonna try to punish him with like Goldberg or some shit. And I was like, please no. I don't
Don't do
want
that.
this to happen.
And Vince just looking at him and like not really want to look at him, to
Yeah.
look at him again. It's like,
I love.
are you serious?
Like I love the picture. He has that aesthetic with that character, and I'm really digging the character. And he makes me laugh. So, and then but he's been killing it in the ring as well. So once the bell rings, his mentality in that match is a whole different story.
I know, but that's not. I never have a problem with Seth Rollins in the ring. It's the over the topness to it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't mind it. Like
Jesus,
I could
it's
see
kinda
where he gets
cringy.
annoying though.
yeah.
What was it?
I always feel like they can cut it.
Yeah.
Not cut the whole thing, but I feel like sometimes he goes a little too long with it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, now we're just milking.
Yeah.
But besides that, the lead up was good.
Yeah.
The loops, everything else, I was like, oh, that's the way. That was a hell of a punchline right there. But let's talk about the lead up to what is it? Flair and Rousey.
So
I thought it was
had
hilarious.
no interest in that match since she won the Royal Rumble. I had no interest in that match whatsoever.
You don't like the predictability of it?
It wasn't even that. It was just the fact that I've seen them wrestle before, and it wasn't that great, and I did not really care for
Really?
that
You
match
didn't like?
again.
You didn't like that match?
I did not like the match at all.
Oh,
I thought
my.
it was sloppy as shit. It looks like Ronda Rousey didn't even want to be there. Her passion wasn't there. She had more energy than the first time she wrestled in WWE. She had no energy this time around.
I mean, listen,
Yeah.
would you have energy if every time you showed up on screen they beat the shit out of you?
Not
Not really.
So what I heard, and this is something a rumor that I heard, was the fact that she was really pissed off that they weren't main eventing anymore.
Were they supposed to?
They were supposed to main event.
I mean, legitimate. If that makes sense.
So when going into that match, they were both kind of like salty about it.
That
I
makes
didn't
sense.
care. Like honestly, I rewatched it. I'll say that was the third best women's match of the card. I thought Becky and Bianca killed it, and I thought the tag match was a lot more interesting than this match.
I thought it wasn't.
I
thought
didn't
it
like the build
would-
either. I didn't care for the build. They were annoying.
I
They
thought-
annoyed the shit out of me.
If we're going towards the build to the match, I
Yeah.
thought it was the funniest thing they tried to portray because they just beat the hell out of one character.
Yeah,
It was a one-sided beatdown,
but my thing
and
was
then
it was a repeat.
and then you get to Mania,
Yeah.
and she doesn't win.
So they
So
did the
like,
same exact book.
what story did you tell me?
So they did the same exact booking when they first fought in Survivor Series. Everything that they
But
did through SmackDown, the beating the shit out of each other, they did the exact same shit when they first fought in Survivor Series.
But I understand that, but I'm just talking about
Even like the
WrestleMania 20
garage
I'm
shit.
just talking about 2022
Yeah.
because I can hardly remember everything.
I just
But
felt like
my
they just
point is,
they reused
you
things with that rivalry.
But I get you. But let me
Yeah.
finish.
Go ahead.
But my thing is, when you bring a supposed superstar, a real world athlete, has prowess, and the only thing she does for the 4 weeks she's there is get her ass kicked, what are you telling me? To expect the underdog comeback or some sort at WrestleMania, and she ended up just getting beat.
That's true.
I feel like they wasted my time
Yeah, they kind of did.
trying to get me to care.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. You wasted my time trying to get me to care because you had me expecting, ooh, this is one-sided. Ooh, week 2, this is more one-sided. Ooh, yo, she powerbombed her on the table and choked her out. And this is how we going out? Yo, I expect Ronda to be the SmackDown Women's Champion on Monday. Nah.
Yeah,
Okay.
There was
Okay.
They had to be some backstage shit with that, but other than that, like
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
the match was
lead up
off.
for me was buns. The lead up was buns.
Ric Flair is also getting senile, saying that it was the best women's match he ever seen.
He can say that about his daughter. It's
You
okay.
can't say
Yeah,
that
we
about
don't
his
have
daughter. You can't say
He
That's
don't
the
have
reason why
to-
he said it. That's the reason why he said it.
He don't have to. He don't have to be honest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rick Flair will lie. He'll fucking lie his ass off just to put shine on his daughter. But let me point out,
Listen.
you are right that the lead up to all this was terrible
I didn't care for
with
it
Ronda. I don't feel like they protected like they did this first time.
at all.
She had matches where she was shining, and then they didn't do that at all.
It's just
Like
got
they
her
let her
ass
beat up
kicked.
Sonya. They let her beat up Sonya to get her frustrations out, and apparently that was enough for them. Yeah, no, you gonna lose.
Yeah, the ones that she hurt was the ones that are not a part of the match.
Exactly.
So my issue with
Still.
this with the going into the Charlotte Flair again. I actually looked it up back when Charlotte and Ronda Rousey fought Survivor Series. I looked up the card and they did the exact same shit, and I was like, that's why I remember. That's why it feels like a deja vu when I'm watching this shit because I've seen this before, and there's the exact same thing. The parking lot scene, the one breaking the glass of the car and shit like that, slamming to each other. They did the exact same shit 2 years ago. And I was like, damn. And I actually had to go look back because I didn't want to be like, yeah, they did the same shit and not know that they actually did. No, I went back to watch it and I was like, oh, wow, this is actually very, very similar. And Sonya was the one that took the beating during that time, too.
Yeah, he's the one that took the beat.
Sonya was
They
one of
did
them.
exactly.
It was Alexa, and then she hurt Alexa. And then she fought Sonya Deville a couple times, and she wound up hurting Sonya Deville as well.
And then there we are.
There we go. Anyway, that was one match I didn't really care for to build. There was nothing really interesting to me about that one. Just saying the Kevin Owens thing, the whole Austin, him dressing as Austin, and him having the theme hit that Austin was gonna come out and beat his ass, and just looked at
That
the
was funny.
crowd. I thought that was fucking genius.
Yeah, that was funny.
Fucking hilarious. But yeah, Kevin Owens killed it with those. The Jackass, I'll say the Sami Zayn Jackass thing. I could see where I kind of was not looking forward to this match, but for what it was and how the reaction of it, I enjoyed it. But this was also another match that I felt like the story kind of went different directions. I was kind of following it, but I was not 100% behind it.
Yeah, I can understand that too.
I thought it was over after the first thing, and then when they continued it, I was like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I was pleasantly surprised. So that
Especially
worked in
with
their favor.
the fake catapult prod.
Yeah, that was bad. That was very bad.
the mic in the fucking ring caught the electric shock. It was just bad. What was the other ones I would say?
Almost and Bobby Lashley, that was last minute.
Yeah. That was just thrown together.
It makes sense because they were trying to hide, Lashley's comeback. They wanted to, because I saw it. They built up almost. He did not lose going into WrestleMania. But you have to remember, they had him repeat matches like crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm taking this giant seriously, but he's only beat like 3 people because he repeated the matches. Like he repeated like 2 of his matches twice, and I'm like, you shouldn't have fired everybody because I can't take your man seriously because he has not defeated a credible pool of individuals. He's only just beat up these guys in a row. So that means they kind of suck, is what you're telling me. So I wasn't happy. I wasn't looking forward to this at all.
I wasn't looking forward to it because I saw the interaction in the ring.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this is going to be terrible.
A little bit of oil and water going on there, yeah.
Yeah. He did not work that right.
The Miz, Logan Paul.
I didn't watch it. I don't give a fuck. Sorry. I'm not supporting Logan Paul. You kiss my ass.
Yeah.
I don't care how good he was. I saw the clips on the Raw recap.
I feel you.
I don't give a shit. Go away.
They both look like Pikachu. I was like,
he could have had the match of the night, and I'd still say fuck you. So I don't care.
The tag titles, SmackDown wise, Nakamura and Boogs. Sadly, we got an injury on that one, but that was another match I was not really looking forward to. But I'm glad they had to get the belt off of Nakamura, and then they just threw him in the tag team title match.
Yeah, it's kind of whack. Leading up to that it just looked lazy. He
Yeah.
didn't do anything, and he won the championship, and then he had it, and then he didn't do anything with it. And I'm just like,
I was going to point out they didn't book him to do anything with
I
it. With
know, I
two
know,
titles, with
Yeah.
I,
two belts, he did nothing.
I know, but it's
It,
just
it's
like
upsetting, kind of. It's upsetting to see him like this. I'm like, you
he's
keep
a
giving him
trophy.
belts, but he's not.
You can see now he's a trophy
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah,
They just want to have him there,
Yeah.
just to have him there. So
And I'll say another strong build was Pat McAfee and Austin Theory.
yeah, I can't say it was the one I was like, oh my god, I can't wait. But I was so, you know what? The one thing I was excited for was for people to see Pat McAfee on a bigger stage,
Yeah.
because regardless of how big NXT was when he had that match, because I think wasn't that one of the matches in the pandemic era?
Yeah, it was with Cole too.
yeah.
So that being that, regardless of it being on the network at the time and you just being able to watch it now, it was not in front of a live audience as big as WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So not that many people really got to see Pat McAfee be like awesome.
In the ring,
And
yeah.
I was like, oh, people are going to be surprised to see him. And guess what? I think he didn't disappoint.
Oh,
So
they
that's
did.
cool.
They did a hell of a job, and he had me fucking laughing when he was on the floor. And the beer was pouring the beer in his mouth. That shit had me rolling. But
God damn it. Why Vince? Why?
I would say
I
like
think he did that on purpose.
No,
and
I was going a little ahead of ourselves
what
here.
was it? Edge and AJ.
I wasn't paying a full attention to the build of the story. I only saw. Well, didn't it really start when he murdered AJ?
Yes.
Yeah,
So I guess it wasn't that much. I mean, it
and him
was
talking
fine.
every week.
I can't say it was
Horrific.
bad. It was fine. It's just okay. Here's my problem with that move, and wrestlers coming back a week later.
Yeah,
That's not realistic,
Yeah.
even for wrestling. It's because, and here's why I say it's not realistic for wrestling, because they don't allow direct headshots in WWE. So you can't, if you're not allowed to, because the real life repercussions, and you have a man in character do one of those, I think the selling should be more severe. That's it.
yeah. He should come back. Well,
I think he should have
yeah.
came back the week before. Well, he had, because I think maybe he did actually show up on the show like the week before.
Yeah.
Am I right? Like AJ
He
showed up on Raw.
He came back like
wasn't-
maybe 2 weeks.
See that? Yeah, I think it was too early. That's my one problem. Is you guys? We know this is not. No, I'm gonna have to say not real, but I know Edge knows what he's doing when he does the one man concerto, so he's not killing people for real, right?
Yeah, no, but the
The rules of
impression.
the the rules of the show and the real life protocols clash with what you have your performers doing, and that kind of bugs me. So I always feel if Edge does that, the person who gets the one man concerto, you got to take more time off.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's my only problem with that for you.
Yeah.
That'll be like more on them, like not booking that match earlier.
Yeah. But I'll tell you this, I think it ended up having like the best intro out of everything in WrestleMania.
Yeah, that
Like,
was actually pretty badass.
it is kind of funny because even AJ with the blood coming out added to it. I just felt him being pissed off walking to the ring kind of added to the interest going in with Edge and stuff, and him pacing and stuff. There's a lot of little stuff that you see like specifically for that one I like.
Yeah.
So
I agree. But yeah, I thought that was like for what they did for again maybe a couple more weeks ahead. They could have built it and had him out for a bit and then come back. But
Exactly.
I thought it was a decent build. It got me interested in the match. The whole heel turn with Edge, with the whole suit and things like that, with the blue eyes and lighting and shit like that, I actually thought was kind of cool. The fact that he's still using an Alter Bridge song, just a different song, is great as well.
yeah. Very cool.
There you go. Anything else for to build up?
As
That
far
was
as the
about-
builds, I think we hit the most key points, right? Because we got women's tag, we got Edge,
Yeah.
we got
Well,
we got
hold up.
we even talked about Sheamus and Rich Holland and all them. We talked about McAfee. We talked about Roman.
We
Anybody
didn't
else?
talk about Drew.
Oh, Drew.
No, we said
Yeah, we
that
didn't
was
care about
we
that.
mostly
Oh, you
we
didn't
basically
care about
said
Yeah.
it didn't need
you
to
passed on
happen.
that
We
one?
didn't care.
Oh, yes, it did not need to happen.
We do
Mhm.
shout out to like Madcap Moss winning the Andre.
Yeah, that's cool. Good for him.
The fact that I realized that he was in the match, I was like, yeah, he might. There's a big chance he might win.
Here's my problem with that entire thing, though. Why was Finn Balor in that match?
Yeah, because he only has a U.S.
Why wasn't he
title
defending
he
his
could defend,
championship?
right? He only has a title that he takes into the ring with him. That's about it.
There's just some things going on right now with some of their champions that confuses me. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
And what bothers me also is the fact that Priest and Balor had a rivalry going on.
Very heated as
Yes,
well.
they did.
So there
They
was a
did have a
story
rivalry.
going into that could have easily went to a U.S. title match.
Yeah.
But
I
then
don't
again,
understand.
I'll say it kind of would have kind of affected the Edge and AJ outcome,
Well, I'll say that.
unless
Because he couldn't. I mean, as long as he don't win, it would
Yeah.
have been fun.
yeah, or if yeah, there's ways it could get behind that. But I would have took the knot too, and then you would have had.
Now,
Edge.
here's something that I just thought of. Merc, you didn't do it on purpose, but you planted a seed in my mind. What if it was Finn Balor who joined Edge instead of Damian Priest? Dude, I would have lost my mind. I'm just
That would have
saying.
been cool too. I have a feeling it might be Ciampa. Ciampa might be the next person in that group
I wonder why.
because they got none.
Because they're trying to make it make sense. I get that these people have dark sides. What's gonna happen? It just if it was Finn Balor, it'd been way better. Just saying.
Yeah. I have a feeling that we're gonna see AJ and Balor team up against them. But again, they had a perfectly good rivalry between Priest and Balor. They were actually going at it quite a few times, and it was kind of getting heated. I thought we were going to get the Demon Balor versus Priest at WrestleMania, but we did not, and I was a little disappointed. We got the IC title at WrestleMania SmackDown. I fucking hate that. And then it was just like I feel like they just wanted to add things when they could have just easily put that on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, other than that, the build was okay. For the most part, we had some good ones. The rest of them were a little iffy. I guess we give a little rundown of the AEW shows, and then we go right into the review of WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then we don't watch those for nothing.
This is true.
So I'll go through Rampage. Oh, and then Stand and Deliver. Do you get to watch that?
Yeah,
I
actually
did not
saw some of
actually
the-
miss it.
That
saw
one actually
some
had a
of them.
better. That one actually had a better build than a lot of the WrestleMania though.
I can see that. I can see that.
But
Some of them, I told Nick I didn't like how obvious the women's tag scene was.
yeah,
Yeah.
The tournament ending the way it did is you knew the serious ones were going to end up winning because they ended up putting Dakota Kai with the sleepy girl, and it's like they're not going to win.
but
They
she
took
got a
out
tag
Caden
title.
in them, and I was like, that sucks. They took
Yeah.
out the real tag team, and it was a setup to bring back Dakota Kai and Gonzalez. So
Yeah,
that part I didn't feel was obvious, but I did feel it was like, oh, we know that Io and Kelly are gonna win.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't like that.
Yeah, you can call that from the jump. Yeah.
yeah. I wanted to. Who was it? I had Casey. I wanted a Casey Carter and
Yeah.
Kazari. Casey and then the other chick to win because they were
Like
actually
the
a tag
established
team.
teams. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Stand and Deliver had a good build up. They had some ladder match I was looking forward to.
Yeah, that match was crazy.
But we'll go into the verdict of that also. But I'm just saying it had a really good build going, at least going into Stand and Deliver. I don't know what they did with last night, but whatever. We'll get into that next week.
That was weird.
Yeah. Anyway, we got AW on Wednesday. We had CM Punk versus Matt Caster.
It was all right. It wasn't as good as last week's match
Yeah.
versus Dax Diaz, right? But it was all right.
Yeah.
Cass is cool, but
You got
I like the rap more than the match.
there you go.
That's usually his thing right now. CM Punk's doing such good work, and he's building up new talent the way he said he was going to do. He's been hitting it out the park so far with that show. I just wish the rest of the show followed suit. But that's remember this company's only 3 years old, so it's like they're going to get it together.
Yeah.
Hopefully more feedback. You don't want them to be. You want them to be different, but you don't want them to be. I feel like too indie. That's what it is.
Yeah, I
But
can see
besides that, certain things are clicking, and I wish more of that things that are clicking was done more on the show, and then on Rampage, almost have the same feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they'll figure it out. Once again, it's 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, they'll get it way better than.
That's true.
Yeah, they do. They have their hits and misses. Rewatch it, rewatch it every week. So we see the hits and misses, and the things I enjoy, the things other people enjoy, might not be the same. But I like when it comes to like the actual wrestling part of the shows, they've been quite solid depending on the person that's fighting. Like anytime Daniel Bryan's fighting, I'm watching. I'm there for that match. And there's very few far between. But when I actually Dax and CM Punk last week, that was a gift.
Ooh,
that match was fucking beautiful. And
beautiful.
I like stuff like that. I'm here for that. So when again, I just hope like some of the younger talent start learning these, like slowing down and actually learning to tell the story and work the knee and work the arm and work the body part that your finisher evolves. That's my biggest issue with wrestling today. Like they'll do like I'll give shit to Becky. I love Becky Lynch, but I give shit to her. She never works on the person's arm, and that bothers the shit out of me because you go into disarm her, but you do not work on her arm. Like there was times that she did, and then I gave her the credit, but nowadays she doesn't do it, and it's like you don't work on the arm at all. So why the arm is going to be so in pain? That's my own.
Exactly.
But it's just wrestling in general. Like I like seeing the scientific parts of the wrestling. I like seeing the legs being worked on and things like that.
I don't know, man. As Roman Reigns, Brock ain't had to work on that arm too long.
Yeah. Yeah. That was good. All right. We got Jay Lethal and Jon Moxley. That was a good match. Yep. Keep going. Come on, end it. What? Oh shit, motherfucker.